I'm completely broke. I'm in the middle of this 1,600-mile biodiesel motorcycle road trip, and I have like $1,000, and I just borrowed $500 from a family member to like eat. And I had this amazing time on my way down to California with my two good friends, Eon and Guy. And the lessons I'm gonna share 5 lessons, and a few of these are from my mentor and friend Eon, who does like 70K a month, and he's making me realize some things that I need to know. And so I'm gonna tell you these stories in the hopes that if you're in a similar situation, you're following your dream, you're pursuing something, perhaps it's a migration from a university project into your business of some kind. I'm going to share what I'm learning now as I go through these painful last few weeks where I've been really kind of down in the dumps, to be honest, in the hopes that they help you. So 5 things. The first is, well, before I get into it, actually, the general premise is how to turn a university project, a dream, a personal project into something that makes money, because that's the point I'm at. I have to. So the 5 things are money making through value generation, talking to as many people as possible, focusing on needle moving activities, and this one's key, so stick around. Emotions, actions, and thoughts being aligned. This is really important if you're unhappy. And then the last one is speed of action. And there's quite a big idea I have with that one, so stick around to the end to see that or to hear about it. So the first one, value generation. I had for a long time this idea that business was something about just this thing, money that you acquire from somewhere. And I read this book, not Millionaire Fastlane, but by the same author, by M.J. DeMarco. This really excellent book called Unscripted. And he describes quite literally, you make money when you generate value. And value is solving someone's problem. That's it. That's what you need to focus on. If you do that, you'll make money. And so that leaves me into point number 2, which is well, before I get into point number 2, actually, with this project, it was very focused on sustainability, which is great, which was my personal goals, but it doesn't really generate value. It doesn't solve someone's problem. It doesn't solve the business's problem. So no one's going to pay me for it. That's why a lot of environmental organizations and people helping children, they're charities because they're not profitable. But I need to make a profit because otherwise I can't survive. That's the point I'm at. So that's value generation. It's like, how are you solving a problem? And so for the bike, it's how can I use the attention that I'm receiving, like 400,000 impressions on different news articles, for someone else's benefit? How can I leverage that for someone else? So that's an example. Just gonna switch hand here. So the second point is talking to as many people as possible. And this is essentially sales of like, I don't know what someone's problem is. So I just have to call and talk to as many people as possible to try and figure out what that is. And that's just action. And that's how you're going to figure out the pain. You can then create an offer on, which you can then sell, right? But you don't know what that pain is unless you dive really deep into it. And I recommend a resource, Jeremy Myers. He's got this ENPQ, I believe it is, framework for sales, which I found really helpful because I didn't really know what I was doing. I still don't, to a certain extent. I mean, not really. Eon told me on our call earlier today, he said, you haven't actually improved in sales until money has hit your account. So I think I'm still at that point where I'm not very good at sales. But it was recommended by Charlie Morgan, who I've followed over the last few years and who I found very helpful in many regards. Anyway, point number 3 is focus on needle-moving activities. Needle-moving activities are not thinking about things, not talking to people about things, not meeting people, not watching videos, not procrastinating, not planning, not analyzing, not reflecting, none of that. That's all resistance. It's solely about doing the work that will get you to where you want to be. And so for me right now, that is content creation and cold calling. That's it. And I was really stuck in my head about all these different things and distractions and like next business models and all of that. And I just needed to get rid of all of it. So think in your mind, okay, what can I do in my life? Like, what's really the highest leverage activity I can do, and how will I actually get it to? What are the things that will make a difference for me right now? A big difference. So the third point is having your thoughts, emotions, and actions aligned. And if they're not, then you'll end up like what has happened to me over the last few weeks, which is I've been a bit miserable and like scared and uncertain about the future, and just like it's been chaos in my mind and in my surroundings, and I've been doing things that I shouldn't be doing, like these habits that I thought I'd given up on, like drinking and smoking and all of these things. So align yourself on your emotions, thoughts, and actions, and build on momentum. And this is feedback and advice from someone who makes a lot of money, and I've heard it from many other people, so I think it's good advice. Now the next one is the last one, which is speed to lead. And the analogy I referred to at the beginning of the video was, imagine a plane taking off, like a runway. You have to, let's say you have you make a phone call, or you send an email, or you talk to someone about an idea. Speed to lead is how fast after that action do you follow up with them and take the next step and move it to the next point. And the analogy with the runway is you need to shorten your runway, and you need to send as many planes off the runway as you can, and then have them loop back around and land, and like keep going, and just keep going. And that's a huge driver of sales and of success. And it's true, I found that, raising money for my project and getting the motorcycle finished before leaving, in like absolute chaos of building the final stages of the bike, the cooling and the throttle and the engine stop and all of these different things. It's just like boom, 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 and you have to be super quick. And in setting up meetings and my GoFundMe campaign, you just need to be super fast. So these are the 5 pieces of advice that I've learned and reflected on over the last few weeks. I hope you find them useful. I'll see you in the next one.